podcast.
You listen to Kendrick and Matt on the Slip and Dip podcast.
Oh, beautiful, man.
Woo! Episode 124, Slip and Dip Podcast, back in your life. Kendrick Johnson, Matthew Wells, bringing to you another action-packed edition. This time we got Mr. Gerald Meerschaert making his Slip and Dip debut, UFC middleweight challenger, and friend of the show, welterweight contender, straight from Dallas, Texas.
47 May in the house.
Mr. Geoff Hands of Steel Neal, who will be fighting Mike Platinum Perry at UFC 245 in 2 weeks, December 14th. Yours truly will be on the East Coast at MSG at the Teofimo Lopez Richard Cooney fight, and also known as the Terrence Crawford card, who will be main event. But I'm more excited for the Teofimo Lopez fight myself.
I agree. I agree with you on that.
and on a sad note, condolences go out to Mr. Walt Big Ticka Harris. He's came on the show. He's a very nice guy, very good family. He lost his daughter. It came out that his daughter Anaya's remains were found in Alabama. So condolences out to that family, and God bless them.
Yeah, 100%, man. Well, once that news came out that she was missing, and she was missing for so many days, man, that became the fear that she was going to turn up, that her remains would be found. And it was the thing that we all feared, man. And that's what came out, in between now and our last episode. So, man, we had to show some respect to Walt Harris and the family.
It's the people that I know he's in. We're from the South, but the people, man, in y'all comments and the racism. Like I saw something, and I might want to get offended or get pissed off. Somebody like the 13% doing what they do. It's like, really?
What?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't reading comments, man. Like on
like
stories
Georgia
like
Paul,
this.
keep your comments to yourself, bro.
Yeah, I don't dive into the comment section on some topics, man, and this is just one of them. It's all around sad story. The couple that saw it go down and didn't say anything, like,
Well, I don't know about that.
Apparently, there was a couple at the gas station that saw her get abducted, and the guy wanted to said like, "What should I do?" And apparently, the girl was like, "Don't get involved." I'm like, come on, man, like. See something, say something. Like all this stuff about being like, all this stuff about being like, oh, don't be a snitch. Like, no. How about if you see somebody being taken against their will, you say something, because that is not right. Like even if it's a family dispute or something, you call that in. Like let the cops prove that it's a family dispute. Like let them do their thing. But yeah, all around, man, sad story. All around. Prayers to Walt Harris and the family. Wouldn't wish this on anybody, man. Wouldn't wish it on anybody. And there's just put a somber mood on the whole week for the combat sports world for me, man. But yeah, shout out to Walt, man. I don't, have any like desires to see him return to action or anything like that for the time being. Just let the man deal with the loss the best way he knows how. And whenever he's ready to come back to action, I mean. For his career wise, man, he's hitting a stride.
Yeah.
So
there's no manual for this. Yeah,
there's really not, man. He's just gotta take his time with it, however long that may be. But yeah. So let's get off of that, man, before it gets too heavy to kick off the show. So like you said, man, we got
because a lot of people know me and Matt talk, but we hadn't talked a lot. Yeah. I've been all over the country, getting ready to go back out to NYC. Man, one thing I'm starting to get, I want us to try to get on a push for is getting these UFC rankings, bro. Like these amateur people.
You want to do the rankings?
These amateur people, like, what do y'all be doing? It's like no rhyme or reason. What are your qualifications?
Here's the thing.
And then when it comes out to a big fight, you see somebody with some number. It's like, where you come from? How you get that number? Or you got people that fight in the division because they got a name. They in the top 10. Or just because you're in the top 10 as a 155er, don't mean that you're gonna be on a top 10 as a 170 pounder. Like, it's a new division, new people. You don't get to skip because you're at the top of the heap at the other division. A lot of that stuff is it's like there's a manual out there in the boxing form. Yeah, there's a different sport, but there's a reason they've been doing it for 100 years, and it's pretty accurate.
Here's the thing. I don't want to get involved. Like, I've thought about it many times about joining the rankings. I've actually had an email filled out requesting to join.
Did you see it?
It did not hit send. I pump faked on that email at least 3 times before. It's just like,
I pump faked.
It hit the X. And it's just, the reason being is because, yeah, you can be that solid voice that knows what's going on in the rankings. You can be the one guy that's got the rankings right. But then when you got 15 other people that don't know what the fuck, the weighted average is going to mess it all up. So you're going to be that guy like, yeah, I help do the rankings. You can be like, oh, what the hell? But like, go look at my rankings. Don't look at the total rank. You know what I'm saying? Because like Andreas Hale does the rankings, and his lists are pretty good.
But even they had like an email system or something. Like, for instance, like, I've been on the ring panel for the ring belts in boxing. That's a legit system. Like,
they send out
we have weekly emails that you have to send back every Sunday.
That's what they do.
Oh, they're that bad?
Yes. Yes. They apparently,
I'll try to give them a little bitty credit.
No, apparently they send out an email and they have like suggestions based on, you know, recent activity and fights that are coming up and things like that. You know, basically just to make sure.
Right there, that's a problem right there.
Just to make sure that everybody knows what's going on.
But just because a fight's coming up, like you've mentioned this multiple times, somebody gets a fight and they get added to the rankings. Yeah. It's because that shit has no bearing on the rankings. Yeah, 100%. A fight coming. Oh, he's gonna fight in a month. We gotta put him in. Like, what?
Yeah, it happens. It does happen. It's unfortunate. But yeah, I don't. I'm going to stay on the sidelines for now on that, unless something else changes. And for our loyal listeners, please give us some suggestions on some stuff to talk at our end of the year shows. We close down Action Pack 2019 when you've had KOs, spectacular KOs in the cage, spectacular KOs in the boxing ring. We've had some Fight of the Years. Mainly Jorge Masvidal, and then in boxing, we have quite a few people. Please give us some suggestions on what y'all want us to talk about on our final show of 2019 as it's approaching quickly. Yeah, 100%. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already on YouTube as well, and reviews on the iTunes. We need those reviews on iTunes. Please help us out with that on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as it's now officially called. So one thing I want to talk about real quick is we had some big fight announcements come out this past week too. The return of the Irishman, Conor McGregor, back in action, man. Cowboy Cerrone against McGregor. This is one I've been wanting to see ever since that little back and forth at that press conference. Going on 5 years ago now, back in 2015. He was at that Go Big press conference. I think it was a Go Big one. Yeah, I was actually there. Where you called him at the stuck in the mud division. 155 was the stuck in the mud division. And Cowboy was just like, nah, you don't want to come up here. But I understand. But to me, that highlights what's wrong with UFC. Like, people, like, that was cool that they went back and forth, but people get so enamored with that. Like, for instance, every time Nate Diaz gets on the mic, I'm not surprised, motherfucker. Like, that really? That's all we're talking about. Like, these fans are like, are they like not that dumb, or am I giving them too much credit? Like, because somebody's got some mic game, don't mean they got some fight game. Well, hey, that's what sells tickets is the talking aspects. So we've seen that time and time again. But yeah, that's gonna be a big fight. Anthony Pettis is also on that card as well. January 18th in Las Vegas. Another big fight that got announced for the 5th time. Khabib Ferguson going down April 18th in Brooklyn, New York. I cannot wait. Hopefully, man, I've been there the 2 times they went to actual fight week. I was there one of the times when Khabib had the bad weight cut. I was in Brooklyn when Tony had the knee thing on Sunday. So I've been there the actual fight week when the dude didn't show up or we had something crazy happen. So. This is the 5th time. This is the 5th time this fight has been scheduled. So people, our listeners, pray to whatever God you pray to. You know, whatever superstition that you believe in and that you trust will bring a positive outcome towards getting this fight to actually go off this time. Please do that because we want to see it. We got to see it. This is that one fight at 155 we have to see. You know, something happens this time, I don't care. Schedule it again. Schedule it again after that. I don't care if this fight has to take place December 2020. Keep scheduling it until it happens.
He's December 2020.
That's my end of my mini rant on that. And one other fight we got coming up. So we'll talk about stuff coming up this weekend real quick. Tito.
You think this is a real fight, bro?
It's a real fight. Tito Ortiz coming back against Alberto Del Rio.
For the 10th time, how many times is enough?
Yeah, a.k.a. Alberto Del Rio, Alberto Rodriguez, who has fought.
Oh, that's his real name? I didn't even know his real name.
Alberto Rodriguez.
El Patron.
El Patron, yes. He is going to be fighting Tito, and I expect Tito to just steamroll him, and that's what the betting lines show as well. I looked at him the other day, and Tito's like a minus 1,000 or something. But yeah, so that's the thing that's happening. Combate America's put that card together. And this weekend in UFC side, we got Alistair Overeem.
This Rootstruck dude, I think he might be. I don't know what the odds are, but if he's an underdog, I'll put some money on him.
Let's see if the UFC side has him listed real quick. Nope,
yeah.
They don't. They have the spot for the odds, but they are leaked.
Our girl Cynthia be up in there.
Yep, Cynthia's in the co-main. Go back to 2 weeks ago where we had that nice little interview with Cynthia. So listen to her talk about this fight with Marina Rodriguez. But yeah, Jairzinho Rosenstruck.
I thought that was on
a damn good
the
fight.
UFC card.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I'm low key excited about this card. I mean, it's been a 3-week hiatus for the UFC, so I'll be excited to cozy up to some UFC.
Oh, you fight Yana. That's gonna be a good fight. Yeah. I saw her train in the gym at the PI Center just last week in Las Vegas. She looked very good. She's very sharp.
Yeah,
she's a lot bigger than what you realize you get up on her.
Well, no, yeah, that's why she always has weight cut issues. So hopefully she gets that figured out. Yeah, it's a nice card, man. There's some names on here throughout that are not
pull up 245 card.
All right,
any favor on that?
Will do. Is he on UFC 245? Let's see. I shall pull that up. Who is he fighting again? I forget.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's all I want to get reminded. I don't know who's all on 245 card.
You listen to live coverage of me. Google UFC 245.
Live coverage.
Yes. All right, here we go. Colby versus.
Yeah, I knew that.
Usman. Uriah Faber, Petr Yan. Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay.
It's a damn good fight.
It's not Peter.
Peter Petr.
So hold on. Our man Hands of Steel's not on the main card.
Pretty sure it's Petr.
He's on the main card. I thought he was on the main card.
This is Tapology's thing. I don't know if this is accurate to what UFC has. Can flip over to the UFC real quick and figure it out. Let's see if they've got, because they changed the lineup on us on a whim. You know how it goes.
We got no shadowy figures on the main card. I'm good to go.
No shadowy figures. No, UFC 245 will not have any shadowy figures on the main card. Pretty sure about that. All right, let's see what the UFC has. Here we go. Loading it up. Of course, the 3 title fights will be closing the show. Marlon Moraes, Jose Aldo, yep. And Uriah Faber kicks off the main card. So yeah, Geoff Neal, Mike Perry will be closing off the prelims.
No respect for our man, Jeff.
Hey, ESPN2, that's a good spot. It's a good spot, ESPN2, closing out the prelims right before the pay-per-view.
Matt Brown's on there too.
Yeah, Matt Brown was on the show, episode something or another. Go look at the list.
He's already focused. Yeah, he was ready to go 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, man, he's always
one shadowy figure, but it's on the prelims.
Two shadowy figures.
Oh, Jessica Eisbach from the head kick. That's crazy. You go from a main event to not opening up the show.
This is why I don't agree that I don't think this lineup is finally set, because this is a top 10 matchup. 2 top 10 matchups on the early prelims. Come on, man. I hate when the UFC does that. But, they only got 3 fights on the ESPN2 card. Whatever. We'll figure it out. We'll still see if it shovels out. I'll call Dana. I'll call Dana tomorrow and get it sorted out. No, I'm kidding. I don't know Dana like that. Let's get on to these to our chats with our guests, Gerald Meerschaert and Geoff Neal. Before we do that, though, check out the merch store, people. Check out the merch. We got the tees. We got the hoodies available. The link is in the description below if you're watching us on YouTube. So go grab you one. Like I said, man, it's wintertime. You got to stay warm. Get yourself a nice slip and dip hoodie. Throw it on. Cozy up while you're listening to us talk to these fighters about their careers and what they got going on in their life. But so check it out. Show some love. Help support the show. Free things you guys can do to help support the show. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We would definitely appreciate that, because that just helps the visibility and the algorithms and the computer stuff and all that technical mojo. Basically puts us in front of more people to help grow the show, and that's all we're trying to do. So yeah, grab yourself a t-shirt, grab yourself a hoodie. We would appreciate it. First, we're going to hit you with Geoff Neal, getting ready to go into action 2 weeks from now out there in Las Vegas. And then Mr. Gerald Meerschaert. You're really going to enjoy these. These are great conversations with both guys. So yeah, if you haven't hit that subscribe button already, please do so. And we will see you guys next week with more.
Before we got to close out.
Oh.
Joshua Ruiz 2, Saudi Arabia, the rematch. I think Joshua's going to get beat again by decision. Controversial.
I think, because did you see the face-off? The face-to-face little interview chat thing?
Yeah, they went back and forth.
Ruiz was like, yeah, I think
Womack's very dismissive of Anthony Joshua. You think he still got the belt? He's very dismissive. Like,
see,
bro, didn't you get your ass beat in July? I know what I saw. You couldn't tell by the way he was acting there.
Dude, so here's what I think. I think Anthony Joshua, I think two things are going to happen. I think Anthony Joshua is going to go out there and absolutely steamroll Ruiz. Like, I'm talking where Ruiz done land more than 5 punches. Or the exact opposite of that's going to happen. Because when he said, yeah, I think he quit, the look that he had on his face was like, I didn't know if I could read that as, yeah, I'm kind of broken, or dude, I'm about to end your life when I get inside this ring. I couldn't call it. It was one of the two. It's one of the two. It's either side of the extreme. I can't figure out which one it is. I'm telling you, that's that look I got. Like, I don't know. Maybe y'all can help me out. Help me out. Figure out which was it. Was he saying I'm gonna end your life, or was he saying, yeah, I'm still not right in the head? You're probably right. I did quit. I don't know how to read it.
I think the fight's gonna be completely different, though. I will say that.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
I'll be in NYC watching it.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's another thing to look forward to. But yeah, let's get into these chats. Gerald Meerschaert, Geoff Neal, and then Gerald Meerschaert. And yeah, until next week. Peace.
Please welcome back to the Slip and Dip Podcast. Friend of the show, making his 4th appearance now.
Something like that.
Mr. Geoff Hands of Steel Neal, who will be back in the cage in 2 weeks at UFC 246? 245 in Vegas.
Yes,
sir.
So
are you itching to add another in your season, or your 2019, with another highlight reel KO?
Yeah, that's the plan. If not, it's going to be just a good fight. I'm winning either way, so I'm just ready to get the show on the road.
Do you think you have to, I won't say get out of character, but we always should have saying for MMA fighters that closed mouth don't get fed. We know you're not really much of a vocal guy. Are we gonna see something? You like when you go through your paces and stuff, what to do after the fight, or you just gonna get your hand raised and be silent, hands are still Neal, and leave like that silent dude and just go leave the octagon? Or you gonna get up on there and we're gonna see that Central Texas side?
No, I'm gonna stay true to who I am. My fighting will speak for itself. I don't need to talk shit and make a whole bunch of noise and get noticed. If I knock him out in the first round, people are gonna notice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I knew that answer because I asked Geoff at the gym if he was gonna recreate Israel Adesanya's walkout next time. He just said nope, just flat out, not even gonna entertain nothing like that. Yeah, man. Yeah, like with Mike Perry though, like he seemed like he's kind of toned it down a little bit. Like he's like, I think he knows he's in for a tough one because he's not out there talking too much trash on social media. What do you think? It
might be just because I'm not engaging back with it. You know what I mean? He tried some shit earlier.
Yeah, I remember. I saw your memes on your Facebook page. Just like he's like said something. He's like, but yet just 2 weeks ago, he like y'all chilling.
Yeah. Yeah, he was tripping. But I mean, I don't know. It is kind of weird for him because I'm used to seeing him talk a lot of shit to people. Maybe he's taking this one real serious, so he might come out like really good this fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess a good thing. I don't know how much difference is it. Working with Uriah Hall so as much because I see a lot of clips. Safe is always posting up. You guys doing a lot of work together.
Yeah, it's actually really good to have Uriah because he is probably one of the most athletic people I've met in the fighting game in a while, and he's quick. His kicks are real strong, and he has a lot of knowledge. He's been in the sport for a while, so I'll go to him. I'm like, hey, how do I do this right here, and then he'll coach me up, and then I learn from him.
Geoff, in between fights, do you, like, for instance, of course, you're training for Mike Perry without a doubt, but are you training for, like, when you get your opportunity, when you see a top 10 fighter, how much does that play in your training?
That's part of the reason why I'm staying consistent. You know, after my fights, I don't take time off. You know what I mean? Because I'm not just getting ready for the next fight. I'm getting ready to fight for the belt. You know what I mean? So after I get done fighting Mike Perry and winning, I'm gonna keep staying in the gym and keep grinding.
Have you told your people?
What's up?
No,
that's it. As far as like specific, I ain't nothing specific, but I'm just training every day.
Have you told your people that you work for at the restaurant that you getting promoted to guest once you get this dub of December 14th?
I quit. I don't work. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's good luck. Good luck. Props to you.
Yeah, like how much do you feel that changed? Where it's like you got a different focus now that you've only got the one thing to look forward to.
I mean, it was always the same focus. You know what I mean? It's just now right now I probably would be at work. You know what I mean? Or I would work this morning or something. But I have more time to relax and chill and let my body heal, because like I'm in the service industry, so I'm constantly on my feet, walking back and forth, and really don't have time to chill out and heal up the body. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, man. It's I guess it's kind of interesting to see, you know, when guys are able to make it, you know, the full-time thing as a fighter. Some guys do it early, and it's kind of interesting to see how that plays out. But you know, I like the way you kind of handle it, to where it's like, all right, I'm not gonna let this thing get to my head too much. I'm just gonna keep doing what I do, you know, not change up my whole life too quickly. But I guess that's a real good sign that, like, hey, you're really starting to make some noise in this sport.
Yeah, that's for sure. And once I got word on this fight, I was like, man, I need to buckle down. I don't need to be bust my ass at work and training at the same time. You know, it's about that time. I've been doing it for 10 years, so I feel like I've done enough. I'm ready just to be a full-time fighter.
So how hard was it to, you know, go through the Thanksgiving holiday knowing you got way to worry about?
Yeah, it was miserable. I was just irritable the whole day, watching my family eat all the food, and my mom kept on asking me, "You want some? You want some? You can't just have one piece." No, Mom, I can't have one piece. It was fun, but I made it through it. It was good seeing family, but other than that, it was a mess.
Yeah. What is your, I guess, on normal Thanksgiving when you can indulge? What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish and the one thing that's overrated on that Thanksgiving as far as Thanksgiving food?
My favorite thing is the ham. I love ham. I think turkey's overrated.
Yes.
Turkey's dry. I like a turkey. Nah, I mess with the ham. I won't even eat the turkey.
Yes, I agree with you on that.
I can't say turkey's overrated, but like it's not the all end all. Like we rotate. Like we do a turkey on Thanksgiving, we do ham on Christmas. So if we do a ham on Thanksgiving, we do turkey on Christmas. We rotate it at my crib.
Do both days.
Huh?
Do both.
Ham and turkey.
you just guys are saying you don't know what the phenomenon is about, but you So I assume you gonna throw down on Christmas, then you gonna make up for lost time.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Do you cook at all?
No. I need to learn how to. I don't cook at all.
So you get all your stuff, all your meal preps, like sent to you and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I know how to cook, but it's like I can only cook for myself. I can't cook like a 4-course meal for like a family. You know what I mean? But if I'm just cooking for myself, I can cook some shit up for myself. But other than that, nah.
So are you ready to go through? Are you one of those people that you just ready to get to Saturday night when it comes to fight week? Are you like, do you embrace all the stuff, the craziness, and talking to people talking to people that trying to be like us? I can't say like us because we don't ask them dumbass questions. So talking to people that trying to be like us, and then you got to cut the way, and then don't tell them what the UFC have y'all doing that we don't see besides sign some damn posters. Do you embrace all that, or you just like, give me a Saturday night so I can knock this fool out, catch this bonus, and catch my black ass back to Dallas?
Right. It's like a double-edged sword. Like, you know, I get to fight week. I pretty much just handle the stuff the UFC has me do. Like I really like fight week, you know. And then but mainly when I'm in fight week, I stay in my hotel. I don't go sightseeing. I don't run around the city and seeing all these different things. I mainly just chill in my hotel, sleep, relax, and keep my mind on the prize. You know.
Do you do anything? Do you do anything afterwards? Kind of like a little mini victory tour. Like, hey, I'm knock this full out Saturday. I'll chill in Vegas until Tuesday and Wednesday, then take it back to Dallas.
Nah, I fight and then I leave the next morning, go home.
That's why you that silent assassin. Throw them hands of steel. Get that hand raised and get up out of there.
Out of there.
Do you have any plans for like a little Christmas vacation, or what? Is it just staying on the grind the whole time through?
Staying on the ground. I mean, I don't plan on going anywhere yet. If I do go somewhere, it's gonna be probably in the spring. If I don't have a fight like lined up or anything, but I'm waiting for it to warm up. I ain't gonna go nowhere when it's this damn cold. But yeah, springtime I'll probably do something.
If you were to get through this fight unscathed and get a solid victory, or you get a quick highlight reel, are you gonna try to go on that Houston card since it's here in Texas, or does it matter? It don't matter where you fight at.
I wouldn't mind that. That would be a good card to get on. Right here in Texas, be my third fight in the state. I mean, or in Texas for the UFC. Yeah, I'm down for that. But if not, I'm cool with just chilling.
Will you be down there?
I'll be down there. Yeah. Either way,
some of them are gonna be in the house, so we're gonna be hitting you up.
All right.
Yeah, sure. We'll both be down there covering that card. That's gonna be a good one, man.
It'll be the first time since we started the show that we both been at a card. Like we both go to cards. Like when you fight, I'm gonna be in New York. I'm going to the on the boxing side. I'm going to Terrence Crawford and the Teofimo Lopez fight. They're MSG.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to cards. We just don't go to them together.
That's our first one going together. You said the Houston one?
Yeah, I mean Houston. Yeah, February 2020.
Yeah. We've always, for whatever reason, just schedules conflict or whatever. So it's like one or the other. I don't know. Things happen. And, you know, it's not like a full time gig for either one of us either. So it's like, yeah, we can make it. We'll make it out. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's nobody from Fortis on that card already, is there? In Houston?
Ryan Spann.
Oh, is he? Who's he fighting on that card?
Superman.
I see. Or did I see?
OSP.
Yes. Okay, that's right. I forgot that was on that card. I thought it was on the next one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's that card. I think it's just him. There might be somebody else fighting. I don't know. Where's Carlos fighting Pettis at?
I don't know. I could Google that or look it up, but let's see.
Right?
Yeah, that's gonna be a good fight too. Has he already? Has he been down there? Or is he still training down in?
He's been down. He's been down here the past couple weeks.
Okay. Does he come up on the weekends or what?
He comes in Mondays and Tuesdays.
Who's this?
Okay. Carlos Ferreira. Yeah. He's getting ready to fight Pettis. That's gonna be a damn good fight. I think a lot of people are gonna sleep on Diego on that one.
I mean, the people who know the sport know. You know what I mean? They have him winning, but the people that don't know, they're over like, who's that guy? I'm like, y'all about to find out.
Yeah. No, that's on the Vegas card, the McGregor card. Yeah.
Okay.
McGregor.
That's one in January, right?
Yeah, the 25th. No, 18th. January 18th. Yeah, the return of Conor McGregor facing Cerrone. What do you think about them fighting that at 170? That's your
Stop calling it a welterweight. Don't call it a welterweight fight. I hate when they call they have these lightweights come up and they call it a welterweight fight. Like, no, you're not a welterweight. Like Nate Diaz is not a welterweight. Anthony Pettis is not a welterweight. Like Jorge, welterweight, but just because you fought somebody one time at welterweight doesn't make you an automatic welterweight and you should be ranked. You know what I mean? Like Nate Diaz is number 6. Who in that top 10 can he be?
I mean, hey, that's a fantastic question.
See, this is the type of Geoff we need. Why don't you throw that in a fight week? Be like, man, let him catch this brother from Texas and catch this off the smoke. I tell you, I do him better. I'll get him out of there. I'm not no monster enough. I'm gonna finish him. That's what I'm talking about right there. We're gonna see that Geoff on the national stage.
Yeah. I'm talking shit because I'm probably never gonna fight Nate Diaz. Like he's probably gonna be out of the welterweight division pretty soon, but it's just like I hate when they have these dudes come up and they hold up the division for no reason. Like they're not going to fight for the belt.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, they got to make titles for them, everything. Get their own special BMF title.
So they need their own little special class, like BMF welterweight or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy. I mean, obviously, it's like, okay, we're gonna do whatever the fans are gonna, whatever we think the fans want to see. Let's make up a title and see how it works. Like, I would have been the same. I would have been as interested in that fight, whether or not there was some native title or not.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so like McGregor Cerrone. Who do you think wins that fight, regardless of it being at 170?
Man, I have McGregor winning it just because Cerrone, man, he's past his prime, but I'm still rooting for him, you know what I mean? I want him to win, but I just like logically looking at it, I don't see it happening unless he can get it down to the ground and show off his jits, but I've never seen Cowboy go for a takedown, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, man. I know a lot of people are tripping over the fact that they scheduled McGregor for a fight, and he's got these pending sexual assault allegations going on, and you're like, hey, doesn't matter to us.
These people, but it's like, are you surprised?
That's the Ireland in America right now. We don't care.
Exactly. This is the same organization that John Jones, who was on cocaine, and that's no big deal. It's good. Work that out.
Cocaine is not the same as sexual assault.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
It's very different.
I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm saying he was committing a felony blatantly, and he's like, oh, it's good.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't read up on the sexual assault charges. I don't know any of the facts on it, so I'm not going to speak on it.
Yeah.
But
Matt, try to get our man Geoff to hug up.
No. I'm just
He's trying to get him hug jury.
I'm just talking about what's going on in the news, man. I'm not trying to get you to say something crazy. No, I was just highlighting that one thing. But yeah. It's going to be crazy.
How big a deal is to get at least 3 fights in 2020? Especially since this is your full-time gig.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big deal. As long as I'm winning, it don't matter if I have 2 fights, you know what I mean? But we'll see. As long as I'm healthy and I'm focused in the gym, I can do 4 fights in a year, just if they can find people to match me up with.
Do you think, to yourself, do you feel that you're the most avoided man at 170?
I was about to ask.
I wouldn't say that just because
I don't hear your name coming out. I talked to a lot of fighters. I never heard your name one time. I talked to a lot of fighters.
I got no because I got no clout behind me, you know what I mean? And I came to the sport like in the UFC I'm won 4 fights, you know what I mean? And I was like ranked, not ranked, ranked, not ranked. So a ranked opponent's not going to want to fight me. You know what I mean? That's what I've been pushing for like the past like 5-6 months is to try to get a ranked opponent. And it hasn't been happening, and I still haven't gotten a ranked opponent. I got Mike Perry. You know what I mean? So after this fight, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to get a ranked opponent.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you don't, something's wrong. Especially if you go out there and get a finish. Like, I mean,
exactly.
I'd have to write a strongly worded letter to Dana White.
Strongly worded.
Nah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, like seriously, like if you don't get a top 15 after this one, I don't know what you're doing. Because they, again, these rankings, like they slide you up and down, in and out. Top 15 just for whatever reason. I don't know how the weighted system of the rankings work or whatever have you. But it's like you're there one day, gone the next week. I don't know. I don't get it. Do you keep up with it, or are you just like whatever?
Nah, I don't keep up with it. I kept up with it when I first got in the rankings because it was like, oh shit, I'm ranked after my 3rd fight. But once it like bumped me out, I was like, man, fuck these rankings. Like, they don't need.
Yes, 100%.
Like Duke could fight one time and just jump in the division. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But
or it also seems like whenever a fight gets announced, the rankings change. I've seen that happen quite a bit too.
Yeah,
which is weird.
This is tough. I mean, once I'm like in like the top 10, top 5, then I'll really start like, you know what I mean, worried about the rankings. But like when you're on the outskirts, like the 10 through 15, you can drop out at any given moment.
It's make believe. I haven't looked at rankings in 3 years. First of all, we got people like me, Matt, a guy named James Lynch. we more qualified than the people on the panel. First of all, second of all, there's no rhyme or reason. And then third of all, what I don't understand is, like, I know MMA is MMA and boxing is boxing, but we got combat sports that's been around way longer than MMA with ground rules that seem to work. And let's not use that because it's another sport. Doesn't make any sense. It's like there's no logic in anything. In any way you look at it, there's no logic.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say what I'm about to say, but yeah, the rankings are bullshit.
This is a slip and dip, but Jeff, we want the real deal.
Company man.
Oh yeah, I like it. I like it. But how has camp been going for you, man? Because like I said earlier, we see the clips getting posted up by Coach Safe. It looks like everything's going good. Has everything been smooth?
Yeah, everything's been smooth, just like any other camp. Ready to get this weight off and get this fight over with so I can go eat me some real food. But other than that, everything's going great.
That's dope, man. That's dope. I'm glad to hear there's no injuries or anything like that heading in. So we get to see the best hands of Neal in action.
If there was.
No, what'd you say? You cut out.
So I wouldn't tell you even if there was an injury.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect
I can't put that out.
No, you can't let the streets know.
So sorry, are you a whatchamacallit? Are you one of those people that believe in getting out there early and stuff like that, or you have your regular routine? You go out there on Monday and do your thing. Like for instance, if you're fighting in like somewhere in Mexico City or outside the country, you get out there like a few days early to acclimate, or you don't believe in that? I know some fighters do. Some big fighters don't care.
I like to go out there early just in general. I'm going out to Vegas on the 7th, and that's the Saturday. I fly out like 2:30 or some 2:30 p.m. But I just like to get out there early to get in there, get relaxed, and especially if I was fighting in like Mexico City or Colorado, I'll try to get out there like a week before I was supposed to be out there just to get acclimated. You know what I mean? So yeah, get out there early is a good thing.
What about the timing? Because we're in the central time zone. Like, do you train around the time your fight gonna be so your body's used to? Does that make a big deal? Because I think it's kind of crazy. I always think about like when we go to fights on the East Coast. Like, damn, these fools are stepping in the ring damn near 1 a.m. local time. So it's like, do they training like that when they're at their crib, or it doesn't matter? A fight's a fight.
So far it hasn't been like that, but I'm pretty sure if I got like a fight in, you know what I mean, like China or somewhere overseas, and it's a big fight, then we'll probably like move our training time. Like some sparring days, we'll fucking be at the gym at 3 o'clock in the morning going at it. But right now, no. We've been keeping the same routine.
Yeah, I'm sure being in Vegas too, it's nice having that PI to go to, right?
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. I probably will stop by there since I'm going to be early.
Hey, I'm a fan. Without going into details with the story, your boy had a meeting there. I thought I was going to be there about 15 minutes. Like, man, I'm going to take on my time. I ended up getting the VIP tour, the PI, and everything. Shout out to the nice folks of the UFC. So it's all good. $25 million. Hey, it's all good. You can't be a fan or a fighter and not want to go up in there.
That's straight up.
If not, you're not a real fan.
Yeah. I think that thing is pretty dope because it's like there's no other sport that has that I can think of where it's like, hey, here's this big central hub, everybody come in and train and get literally everything you need under one roof. That's pretty dope.
That is dope.
Yeah, man. So yeah, what's been going on? What have you been doing to kind of keep your mind off training for the fight, or are you just that locked in?
I mean, I'll play my video game, watch TV, and that. What'd you say?
No, I was gonna ask, what are you playing right now?
What I play? I've been playing the new Call of Duty that came out, and I like racing games too. I've been playing Need for Speed Heat. That's what I'm on right now.
Okay, how's that new Call of Duty? Because I almost picked it up on Black Friday. I almost did.
Y'all do, seriously.
I like it. I mess with it. It's kind of reverting back to like the old Call of Duty. You know what I mean? There's no like specialist things like where you have like a laser beam or some shit you can shoot at somebody.
So it's like
the gun,
more like Modern Warfare 2 style.
Yeah,
that?
There we go.
Okay, I really might pick it up then. I really might, because I used to go hard on that one.
Yeah, but some of the maps, man, they're ridiculous. Like it's like so many places where people can like different elevations and just so many spots where people could come out of. So that's the only thing I don't like about it. They need to work on the maps and stop making them so like open, you know?
Yeah. You said you were watching like Netflix. Did you get Disney Plus?
No, I ain't got. I don't know. I'm not a Disney man. I was always watching Cartoon Network growing up. I never messed with Disney like that.
You wouldn't know High School Musical? Wouldn't know To Have in the Hole for you?
So you're not in Marvel either? Like all this.
What's up?
Are you into Marvel? I guess you're not into Marvel either with all the Marvel.
Just like I'm not a
cinematic
nerd.
Universe.
Just like I'm not a nerd.
I am. When there's like a big movie that comes out, I'll watch it. You know what I mean? But I don't follow it. You know what I mean?
I got you. Yeah. I mean, I've been enjoying it. It's pretty dope. It is all stuff geared towards a younger audience, but you know, hey, I like the throwbacks, the throwback cartoons, man.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel that.
Yeah.
They had Cartoon Network Plus. I'll get.
What's your kiddo into? You up on the Paw Patrol and all that?
Man, she's on Paw Patrol. This thing called Chip and Tato.
I ain't got Chip and Tato. My little man's on Paw Patrol. He like him some Marshall, and then we also got PJ Masks. So I know about some damn Catboy.
That's funny, man. Yeah. It's holiday times, man. It's kind of tough, man, because this year we didn't have to get a lot of time to spend with the family. So I know how it kind of feels with you having to miss meals, because I had to miss I had to miss all my mom's cooking and my aunt's cooking this year. So hopefully next year, you don't have a fight schedule around and you can enjoy it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
This is like what, third year in a row I had to miss either Thanksgiving or Christmas or both. You know what I mean?
Damn, that's rough.
That's why you're a full-time fighter though now.
Yeah. That's true.
So how cool is it have friends in the NFL, not just in the NFL, but balling in the NFL?
It's pretty cool. You know what I mean? I always like to see people that I grew up with succeed in life. You know, I hate seeing people like that I used to go to school with doing bad. You know, I always like seeing them, even if it's like not like them playing in the NFL or some stuff like that. Like seeing them like with a family, having their kids, smiling. You know what I mean? Just looking like they're doing good for themselves. I like to see that too.
I feel you. I'm the same way. What trips me out is how many NFL players want to be like y'all. Like I went to Deontay Wilder and Dominic Brazil wanted to me the KO of the year 2019 in any combat sport. And he drops him or whatever. And after the fight, I'm sitting there talking to Jalen Ramsey, Earl Thomas, Landon Collins, Travis Kelce. And like, man, this is cool. I want to get that. I want to go to an MMA fight. They were all about it. It's like y'all got some big fans in the NFL spectrum. Like they want to beat y'all.
And they tell them to endorse us. You know what I mean? Find a fighter, endorse us. If you want to be like us, help us. Help.
Get your homeboys to open up that check.
Yeah. If you want to be like me, just throw me a couple million.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, that'll really keep you away from that restaurant life right there.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, no doubt. But hey, keep doing what you're doing, man. Racking up these bonuses. Hey, once that title shot comes, you'll be in that money.
Oh yeah, that's the plan.
That's the plan. You looking to get that in 2020?
We'll see. We'll see how things go. You know, I gotta get this win first, and then once that happens, I'll start thinking about my plans for 2020. But I'm focusing on closing this year out on a high note.
Gotcha. Now, like when you make those plans, do you like lay out your whole do you actually write it down, like what you plan on doing in 2020, or you just kind of have that mindset?
It's tough in 2020 to write something down and like make it like it's tough like in MMA, you know what I mean? Like in the UFC, like, cause I can't really, like, I want to fight this day. I want to fight this day. You know what I mean? I don't have enough. I'm not that big of a name to where I can just call my shots and when I want to fight and pretty much call out who I want to fight. You know what I mean? Like Conor McGregor, he knew, you know what I mean? He pretty much picked his opponent, picked his day, and that's when he's fighting. So I can't do some stuff like that. So I got to kind of play it by ear. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, hell, it could happen though. You know, like I said, it can happen. It can definitely happen. And what we've seen, guys don't necessarily always have to be that Conor McGregor to go out there and talk all the trash. You know, like hell, even a guy like who he's fighting is Cerrone. He's just that guy. Hey, I'm gonna show up. You know, so I'm gonna just show up so many times to where I think he's that guy that can call the shots now if he really wanted to. But I don't think he's that type.
Really?
Yeah, he's got the most. I think he's got the most appearances inside the octagon for any fighter, no matter weight class in UFC history.
He after this fight, when he fights Conor, he's gonna have the record for the most fights in UFC history.
Yeah. So he make that walk more than anybody in this world, which is crazy.
In the world,
which is crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts, man. And of course, you, like you said, man, Mike Perry coming up in just a couple of weeks. Do you ever get those butterflies like heading out, or are you just cool, calm, and collected?
I mean, I get butterflies every now and then. They don't last anymore. You know what I mean? I used to think about fights like a month before, just like, oh shit, I got to fight. I'm gonna fight next month. But sometimes it'll come, and then I'll block it out and just focus on what I'm doing.
When you like see whoever you fight, Mike or whoever you fought in the past, when you see them like when you're having the media days and all that stuff, and they do the face off, does that figure in any psychology? Do you say like, I want to have that weight cut? I always wondered what does a fighter think when they have that? I call it the bullshit face off on Wednesday, and y'all still got a whole 72 hours, and a lot of stuff can change.
I'm honestly like with all that, I just trying to get it over with. I really don't care. I'm not trying to intimidate. Like, I feel like once you're in the UFC, it's past the intimidation thing. Like, ain't nobody scared. You know what I mean? Like, you can try to opponent, it's not going to work. Nobody's scared. We're all fighters. We've fought for years to get to where we're at. Like, that intimidation thing is out the window. So I'm just going to stare down. If you want to act a fool, whatever, we're going to fight tomorrow.
How many people have you had try to act a fool with you?
I've had one dude try to act a fool with me back in my pro days, but other than that, nobody.
What happened to him?
I beat him up. I didn't knock him out. It was a decision, but still won.
Yeah, man. But I'll tell you what, Geoff, man, I can't wait to see how this fight goes down. I'm gonna come out to the gym, man. I want to get some video of you. We'll talk about more of that in a few minutes, but yeah, can't wait to see how this fight goes down, man. I know a lot of people are gonna be interested in it for sure.
Oh yeah, it's a big fight.
It is. It's huge.
It is the main event.
Okay. So we can get you a record. You coming to steal the show?
What's up?
You coming to steal the show December 14th at T-Mobile.
100%. Hell yeah.
How much are you getting crunk off watching your highlights and you got Geoff Neal with the KO? Oh my gosh, he decapitated him going off. Does that guy get you crunk, or that's kind of like a happen? You lived it and you kind of like push that, or does that like, man, I can do that shit again. Let's go.
It's old. I want some new highlights. You know, I'm tired of seeing the same one over and over. You know what I mean? I don't want to be known for that one little head kick. You know, I want more to put on my resume.
My man said he's not a one-hit wonder.
No, sir.
Hell no. Always improving too, man. Yeah,
sir.
100%. Well, Geoff, man, we appreciate the time coming on with us. Slip and Dip Podcast once again, kicking it with us just a couple of weeks out. And get ready to handle business out there in Vegas.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all having me out.
Appreciate it, brother. Please welcome to the Slip and Dip Podcast, making a Slip and Dip debut. One of the most funniest guys in MMA, one of the best well-rounded middleweights in the world today, Mr. Gerald Meerschaert. Appreciate you coming on, Gerald.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Get some insight to your 2019, because you kind of had an up and down, but you're still in the mix.
Yeah, no, I had 4 fights within 12 months for sure, I think, and it shouldn't have been up and down, but I had a couple close fights, didn't exactly go my way, so it made it a little more complicated than I would have liked. But I went out there and I had a couple good performances. I think my last 2 fights were pretty exciting, good performances. So hopefully I get a call early 2020 and I get back in there and leave the judges out of it this time.
We hear that often because I know Jorge Masvidal made that, talking about that's what made him the Street Jesus, Jorge Masvidal. Do you think that fighters need to take more chances or is it good enough just to get decisions? Because it seems like you never know what's going to happen, so you're better off just going out on your sword versus trying to play the point game and don't work out for you despite having a good performance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any guy's going out there looking to have a decision. But, my last fight, for example, there were a couple of parts I probably could have opened up a little bit more than I did. But I chose to be a little more calculated. I was looking for that perfect shot. And in retrospect, I might not have needed to hold back quite as much as I thought I did. But I didn't want to get caught, chasing a really big, athletic, explosive guy. Because, Eric's a big-ass dude. He's real tough. And, he hits pretty hard. So, maybe one of those times I go in there all reckless trying to take his head off and I get caught with one myself. Wounded animal is a dangerous animal. So I was trying to be on the more calculated side of it. But, that just speaks to a bigger issue in MMA, I think, with judges and commissions and, their vetting process and, what credentials they actually have to be doing the jobs that they're given.
Yeah, I think we could go on for hours about that in particular because there's so many guys that it's like they seem clueless about what they're watching. Like when we see some of these split decisions and my favorite thing is when the losing end of a split decision has a 30-27. It's like, and then the other guys got like 30-27s or whatever. It's just, I don't understand what some of these judges are watching sometimes. And of course, the referees have issues at sometimes too, where it's just like they let you guys almost die in there sometimes before stopping the fight.
Yeah, I've experienced both of those in my last two fights. So that's a funny story about the latter part of that is my fight with Trevin Giles. I got nothing against Herb Dean. I still, think he's a pretty good ref, but I had Trevin in that choke, and I remember telling him, I was like, he tapped. And he goes, no, he didn't. And I was like, oh, man, really? Like, I'm going to have to put this guy to sleep first? So, yeah, but, good on him for, I guess, let a fighter go out on his shield. And then as far as, like, the weird decisions, I don't understand why we don't have open scoring. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Ooh, I love it.
Because everyone says, they want to do all the boxing stuff. Like, well, we got a 10-9 must system like boxing. We got all this other stuff. It's not boxing. We have a cage, not a ring. There's all these vast differences. I do not see the problem in having open scoring. And anyone's argument that's going to be like, oh, well, then the guy who's ahead, they're just going to like coast. Yeah, but the other guy knows they're behind now, and they're going to come at him like bat out of hell. So if anything, it makes the fights more exciting, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
It's someone who covers both. They don't have to. I think there should be a 10-9, but I agree with you with the open scoring. That would solve a lot of stuff.
Oh, for sure.
And we have people be held accountable. More importantly, on top of that.
Exactly, because you could see it in real time and get the reactions. Because as much as it's not supposed to, I think the judges play off the crowd a lot as far as the reactions to stuff and how they're scoring things, amongst other stuff. But, I don't even have a problem with the 10-9 must because, especially lately, you guys probably noticed too, there's been a lot more 10-8s, 10-7s being scored than before. Yes, they're getting a little more liberal with that, which is, I don't think is a bad thing at all. But, yeah, that open scoring I think is something that's got to happen in the near future.
Well, my issue with that
what is a 10-8 round, though? Because to me and him go back and forth because I've seen people like catch somebody, hurt them with one punch, and they go 10-8, but they didn't do nothing the whole 450. They caught them in the last 10 seconds and wobbled them. So that don't make it a 10-8 round just because they got hurt.
No, I agree with that, but that's a separate discussion about what do you think merits a 10-8 round, and like another thing is like with significant strikes. What's a significant strike? Are we talking about display?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Even my last fight, you look at the significant strikes, it's like 60, and I'm like, man, we didn't throw but 30 punches between the two of us. Like, you counting every time I move my arms? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
100%. So, 100%. No, yeah. I love the fact that, the new quote-unquote unified rules that aren't unified everywhere.
Still, 2 years later.
But yeah, I love that there are more, under the new rules, you're supposed to be more, loose with the 10-8s. If a guy has a more dominant round, you're supposed to give it 10-8. Even though we still don't see the judges necessarily do that all the time. But I love that because if you dominate 4 minutes, 30 seconds of a round, where I'm talking like you got him on the ground, he can't get up, you're landing ground and pound, that's a 10-8 round. But because if you don't have any offense, like if you're the other guy and you have zero offense and you've been on the defense the whole time, to me that's a 10-8 round.
Yeah, but what if you're not doing no damage? Like for instance, like Habib and Poirier in round 1, he didn't do no damage to Poirier. It was just like a grappling thing. And then round 2 and 3, he started throwing the elbows, cutting them up, and he was doing major damage, it was 10-8. But the first one, he had top position for 3 minutes, but he didn't like do nothing like, oh, he's gonna end it at any moment. As in round 2 and 3, he like, oh, Poirier may not get up out of here. So like, there's like difference to that. You know, he had the dominant position a good 80% of the round.
Yeah, I agree with it. If you get dominated for 4:30, it should be a 10-8. But I understand what you're saying, and again, you're bringing up kind of the aspect of it is like, what are we counting as like big damage, right? So he got controlled in the first round, and it depends on how you score that grappling control, because Poirier probably felt like the world was caving in around him. I know in between one of the rounds, he's like, dude, what do I do? I can't get this guy off me.
Round 2.
Right. It's a terrible feeling to have someone on top of you, controlling wrist, pinning you down. Are you doing damage? Not necessarily. And in his case, now, if he was hunting for submissions and getting close, I could see that being a 10-8 round because you were working to finish the fight.
Right.
However, to your point,
he
wasn't really fishing for submissions. He was just breaking them down and cooking them until, still really controlling them. This is definitely a dominant 10-9. But in that specific case, I don't know if I go 10-8. But then, to Matt's point, I'm thinking if you're on top of some guy, beating him up, and he can't move or do anything, and like is exhausted every option he has and nothing's working, I think that's pretty safe to call that a 10-8 round. And then I've seen a couple where I think a 10-7 was merited, where it was like, all right, Rev, the guy's going to die. You should probably stop it. But that's a pretty rare occasion.
It's usually like in a prelim fight, granted via male or female, and a lot of female fights get that way when those chicks that have that high volume striking are just overwhelming a chick, and chick keeps coming back, but she getting caught with a 1-2 every time she walk up on her.
Yeah,
it's a lot of female fights.
Yeah, well, and a lot of lighter guys too. It's harder to knock people out, and of course, all the female weights, most of them are lighter. They're still 45 and 35, and they got some hard hitters in those divisions. But for like the 15s and the 25ers, it's going to be harder when you're a lighter weight. But I know what you're talking about, because there's a lot of female point fighters where, I don't know if it's they just don't have the natural upper body strength, or they just aren't as good at punching, so the kicking comes more naturally. But there's a lot of slap fighting, which is why I'm really glad the one female we have on our team, Macy Barber, she doesn't play that stuff. She gets in your face and tries to knock you the F out. So I don't have to deal with that personally myself, which is nice. But I know there's a girl coming up for a title fight now pretty soon where she makes a lot of noise and she does good fighting at distance, but like, how do you win 3 rounds? I've met her before. She's a super nice person, but I don't understand how you hit someone for 3 rounds and you leave no damage. And I know I'm saying, granted, some people it's hard to leave a mark. I will admit that. Like there are exceptions to every rule, but when I'm looking in there and I'm like seeing like nothing, like literally nothing, I'm like, I'd maybe just sit on one of them, like just try and crack them a little bit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Joe, have you thought about? I know you admitted your fight career. Have you thought about doing anything like commentating and stuff? Because I see the dudes they have on there. I'm like, they should give you a shot. Just listen to your interviews. I'm like, if such and such could get a shot, how come my man Gerald can't get a shot?
Actually, the funny story about that, I met a lot of the guys, the producers in Singapore, so hopefully that'll be coming soon. I just got to make a couple emails and a couple calls, and of course I'm good friends with Paul Felder, that doesn't hurt, and he's got a lot of those gigs. So
he's got a lot better. He started off shaky, but now he's legit. I like listening to him.
No, he does great. And his background actually is in acting. He was in theater before this and was working towards that, so he's got some experience being on camera, which doesn't hurt. So hopefully in the near future, I can join my buddy there and get some TV time myself.
Yeah, I was like somebody like Paul. He tells the picture, but to me, when you got because we follow sports, so we know all the technical terms. But when you too over technical, it doesn't. Who cares that you know this? Like the general person's not gonna know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I commentate on some local shows, and I've definitely done that myself before. But it's just finding that nice medium where like, how do I explain this so everyone can understand and get the point of it? And, a lot of it comes down to, one guy's got to be at a certain angle here, and the other guy got to the spot quicker, and that's like 90% of it, right? And then the other part of it is you got to throw in a couple key terms here and there to keep the hardcore fans happy, like, oh, yeah, I feel so cool. I knew what he's talking about. And then go into explaining it, make it sound super official, you know what I mean? And then I think that's a big part of it, too. But, yeah, hopefully I get the chance.
Yeah, man. I do commentary for a local show here. Stephen Wright. Do you know Stephen Wright? One of the trainers. He trains guys down here in Fort Worth.
He used to train Johnny Hendricks.
Yeah,
back
he used
in
to
the day.
train Johnny Hendricks.
He was the brother in the.
Oh yeah, no, I met him before. Halifax. No, we were hanging out in hot tub. Me, him, and my buddy Mike Biggie Rose. We were just chilling.
Yeah. So he has a promotion, and I do his commentary, and it's crazy because, man, like we don't have like monitors or anything like that, so it's kind of tough to see things all the time. You know, it is a challenge, like you were saying, trying to find that balance. It makes it tricky because, you know, I do train a little bit myself, and it's like, all right, I know like what's technically going on here, but like how do you relay that and still kind of find that balance to keep people, you know, not feel like they're drowning in words or they make me drown in words, you know? I don't know. It's kind of tough sometimes, but it's fun though. It is fun. And I wish that, you know, there was I guess more opportunities for that, you know? There's a lot. It's cool to see. I love to see actual like high level fighters do it because you guys are at the top of the game. You're in the peak of your careers. I like it when you guys step on the mic and do that and call your peers as well.
There's a couple, the one I do pretty consistently here in Madison, Wisconsin. It's called the Chosen Few Fighting Championships. So we always say it's the other CFFC. And then I know, like on the actual CFFC, they had Jessica Payne there doing the cage side interviews, and there's a lot more on UFC Fight Pass and stuff that are bringing people in, kind of seeing if they want to bring them on like the UFC first, or maybe not, or maybe it's like near their hometown, so they're doing a lot of those. So yeah, hopefully we could get a lot more of that, because you look at every other big name sport, who are all the broadcasters and the color guys. They're all, you know, former players and champions.
100%. Yeah, and it definitely helps because when we were talking about, you know, commentators know more than the judges and the refs sometimes. So it's nice to see you guys like in the booth correcting what should be happening. You know. Yeah. Rogan does that a lot. He's like, well, you know.
So Joe, when you have off time, because of course you train all the time, you got your commentating stuff. I heard you play the saxophone. You just do it all.
Yeah, so before I was gonna do this, I was in school to be a music teacher, and my favorite like type of music for most of the time was like real old blues music. So like jazz was the closest thing. So I had to take a lot of jazz classes, and then I was gonna be a high school music teacher, and then I started punching people in the face, and I was like, oh, this is a lot of fun. I'll just do that. So
you still love the kids.
You're talking about when I have time for stuff. So tomorrow is one of my fuller days. Like Mondays and Wednesdays, I've got my strength and conditioning in the morning, and then I'll go to pro practice, and then I go, if I'm not in a fight camp at night, I'll go teach help coach youth wrestling up in Mequon. It's a little farther north from here with Ben Askren's brother Max. So yeah, it's one of my fuller days, and then Tuesday, Thursdays, 2-a-days, even if I'm out of camp, and then Fridays I have a couple workouts. Saturday I'll have one workout, and then Sunday is usually like off from, you know, any kind of physical activity unless I want to hit a light run or go in the sauna or something.
Coach, you have your hand in a lot of different pots, as we talked about. How do you separate I know you're a purist of the sport. When you see something with Masvidal and Ben, and then of course you know Ben personally, so how does that go? Because you know you see something that you probably never see again from like, whoa, just a pure fan. But then I know you got a personal relationship with him. How does that type of moment go down emotionally?
Honestly, I was just gutted for my buddy. Like, I'll be honest, I was, you know, like I said, I'm super biased in that scenario. And you know, even Ben said it was a good knee. They timed it right. They read the reaction correctly. I think I said I tweeted or something before it was lucky shot. Wasn't really lucky, but I think most of the time in that scenario, that is not the outcome. And I know he's fought countless guys, and like Douglas Lima, for example, really powerful striker, great fighter. Fought him in Bellator, and I can't remember if it was a flying knee or just like some regular knees and kicks, but he had eaten a few from him even in a 5-round fight, and, you know, wasn't put out from a guy who's notoriously a powerful KO artist and a high-level striker. So, you know, that was kind of a bitter pill to swallow for everybody. Like, that was helping him get ready. But like I said, it was history, and he if nothing else, really showed people how to deal with a loss and confront it and move on from it. So, I saw an article about that. Like, it's one of the best things he could have showed everybody is how to handle stuff like that. And of course, he started the academies with his brother, and now he can use that as a platform to educate these, young athletes that are coming up through the schools and stuff. And, it's not just, oh, look at me, because before he's undefeated, right? Which would have been great if he came in and just killed everyone, got the title, and got out of there. But now you have, your firsthand example, like, hey, it happened to me even at the highest level. You can still be okay. Life goes on, conduct yourself accordingly.
Yeah, the crazy thing about his, UFC run to me is that so many people like to say, oh, well, that just proves that the UFC is so much better. When guys come over from different promotions, whether it be a ONE or a Bellator, and they get beat. How about when you have two world-class athletes in the octagon, somebody is walking away with the loss? Why can't it be that simple? Like, why does it always have to be the other guy, like, came from a weaker promotion, these weaker promotions suck, whatever.
Right. Well, he fought Lawler, who had the belt. He fought Masvidal, who's been on a real hot streak lately. He's been fighting forever and a day. He's always a game opponent. And he fought Maia, who, plays his game on the ground just as good as he does. And, in Maia's case, he's fought for a couple world titles in different weight classes. Like, the guy's no slouch. He won ADCC. Like, that's a legit grappler and fighter. So, I mean, you could act like, oh, guys from other promotions, this and that, and even with the Maia thing, I know the argument I saw with some people is, oh, well, Maia lost to this guy and that guy. It's like, yeah, because they refused to wrestle him.
Yeah.
Ben was like the only one. He was like, everyone's like, oh, he's probably going to like try to choke you if you go down with him, right? He was like, yeah, I don't care. I'm going to wrestle him anyway. Like, why am I going to change what I do now? And that's what everyone loved about it. And he, put on a great fight and actually looked pretty good on the feet, considering the matchup that it was. So, hey, it still went out with an exciting fight.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I definitely, I don't think he was completely happy with his UFC run, but I mean, hell, he's still one of the best to ever do it, like, no matter what. So all these people that are just, kind of shitting on him for taking a couple of L's at the tail end of his career, like, that doesn't diminish what he did in ONE. That doesn't diminish that championship run. Doesn't diminish all of the things that he teaches you guys in the gym, I'm sure, to help build you guys up.
Or the Bellator run, because we've seen how many, former UFC guys go to Bellator and not do as well as they did in the UFC. So making the argument for, one place being better than the other, like, I think UFC has the luxury of, like, with the fame and the money, like, I think we have more of the top fighters, but I don't think we have all of them. I think that'd be kind of a narrow-minded way to look at it.
Does it still trip you out that people in 2019 still say, hey, do you fight UFC?
No, the only time I get that is like people ask me what I do, and they're like, "What's that like? Is that like?" It's like, "Oh, is that like the cage fighting? You do the cage fighting?" Like,
he's not like a comedian saying that.
I do the cage fight. Yeah, and then I get all the time like, "Oh, well, my son's a black belt in karate." I'm like, "That's great. I'm super happy for you and your son."
Right.
He'll be a world champion tomorrow. Throw him in there.
Throw him in there. Ask our man Wonder Boy how that go.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people like negate to look at the fact that's one person, because especially in America, we don't have a karate sport system anymore, at least, that leads you to being a professional mixed martial artist. Like when my coach Duke and his brother Rick were coming up, they had the ISK and all that other stuff in the PKC and stuff. Like, you could make money being a kickboxer or a point karate fighter. They don't have that now. If they did, it might be different. But like the only thing I can think of karate wise, they got the Kyokushin tournaments in Japan. Those guys are legit. But other than that, you go to the McDojo or the strip mall and get a black belt. That's not really translating to the same thing. Stephen Thompson is an exception to the rule, and it's cool that he's around, but it ain't like that for most people.
It seems like more and more people have to leave the country to get those type of skills. Like I know a couple fighters that have done their camps over in Thailand for the whole Muay Thai thing and stuff like that. It's that's coming. Like if you're going to be a well-rounded mixed martial artist, you kind of have to like immerse yourself in the culture to get the full effects, because there's none of those things over here to do those drills or see where you're at. It seems like that universally.
Yeah, I think the Thailand push, a lot of people want to see it and they think there's some mystique to going over there and be like, oh, I was there with the Thais and I was sweating in the jungle and doing all this stuff. Really, they're going to like resorts and stuff, like in these nice rooms. Duke loves to tell us stories about when he went over there, and it's like he's got the kids sleeping on him because like he's the big foreigner, and there's like you sleep on the floor and there's rats everywhere and stuff, which is not what it is now, I'm sure. But there's a lot of good Thais that live here now. There's a lot of them in Texas. There's probably a few in California. There's that other, I think it's CSA gym, where that smaller British guy. He fought a lot of Muay Thai, is really good. And then, of course, we got our gym, Rufus Sport. Even we had Kung Napa, who I guess stayed for a while, and was coach way back when. It's a lot of the same stuff, and we can watch film and study stuff and see like, oh yeah, we do this stuff all the time. It's the same thing. It's a little more geared for MMA for us, which I think is nice, but it's not like you can't do that anywhere else. There's just so much knowledge out there now, on the internet. As long as you've got someone that's done it, and there are a few places in the States that have done it, then you'll be okay. I don't think you have to go to Thailand. You can. It's cool. I'm not saying don't do it, but to act like you would have to, I think is a little like you just want to go to Thailand, man. Like, be honest. You want to.
Yeah, man. You want to have a vacation with your training. A little bit of both.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to like be in your own kickboxer movie, that's fine. Just admit it, but don't act like you have to go to Thailand.
Right. Yeah. You gotta get the Instagram pics up. You gotta get the hashtags going.
Oh yeah, Dream Tracer, Dream Chaser, going big this year.
Yes.
You guys are out here sleeping. I'm out here in the jungle hitting pads. What's up?
So what's your goal for 2020 then? Since we talk about dreams and goals, what's your goals for 2020 other than get probably like 4 fights?
I'm just trying to knock everyone out they put in front of me. Like I've got no illusions. Like my. If anything, I got a chip on my shoulder because, whether or not like I've dealt with the losses that I've had and like it's in the past, but the one chip on my shoulder I have is when I stop and think like, man, I should be 7-2 and I'm 5-4. Like that's enough to really piss me off and be like, there's, the mistakes I made in those close fights. I feel like I've corrected those, and I know if I'm in that situation again, the things I can do to make sure that. Like you said, I'm either going out, with my shield or on it. So be the goal for 2020 and, just string together, 3 or 4 fight win streak, get me back in the mix. The top of the middleweight division's kind of weird right now because Cost is out for a while. Romero lost 3 in a row, but he might get a title shot. Adesanya. Yeah. Dude, it's all messed up. Adesanya's got to, I don't know who he would fight because he already knocked out Whitaker. There's, maybe 1 or 2 people that I could think of because a lot of the other middleweight contenders moved up to 205.
Yeah.
So, hopefully by the time I'm ready, it's all figured out.
I want to see him fight Jared Cannonier. That'd be a good fight.
That's the one for me.
Yeah, that's like with the people that actually watch it, they want to see that fight. I'd love to see that, too, because, Cannonier is a beast, and especially lately, he's just got that confidence. Going in there and wrecking people. Like even he fought Hermanson, he did a great job because Hermanson comes out super crazy, but he showed it. You weather that storm, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna just cave in the first round. You're not gonna catch me." Then Hermanson was like, realized there was this gigantic dude in front of him that wants to kill him, and he was like, "Oh boy."
Right. The one thing people are saying about Cannonier is that he doesn't have the following of the big personality. Like, what do you make of all these guys that are out there doing the most? Just for attention in social media space. I'm not throwing out any names, but I think you can.
Yeah, I think I know of a certain individual who likes to wear a certain type of red trucker hat that you're talking about.
Yeah. Allegedly.
But people like authenticity. You got to be yourself. Like I joke around a little bit, but I'm not out here talking shit like that. And, Adesanya, he's that guy, so he's got a big following. Ben was like that even in real life, so he's got that following. So, there's something to be said for authenticity. And, Cannonier, he's just a quiet, well-spoken guy. If he wants to talk or say something, it's usually going to be in the cage, using his fist. And I like that about them. And that's one thing where, in the UFC, it is kind of closed mouths don't get fed kind of thing, right? Except for now he's getting closer. He beat Hermanson. You can't really deny him anymore, but I think I don't think he should try to talk more because obviously that's not him. But I do wish that the UFC would maybe give a push to some of the quote-unquote quieter guys because I'm sure there's plenty of story there. And if you really want to like build some other people up instead of just the same 3 or 4 you've got going on, it wouldn't be too hard to do. But I guess we'll see how the fight goes down because if it's a good showing or especially if he wins, then you're gonna see a lot of highlight reels pop up with narratives and like speaking in the background that you've never seen before all of a sudden.
Right.
Yeah, because like we know him personally. He's another friend of the show, and he's from Dallas. And where he grew up at, I didn't grow up at. It's like the hood of Dallas. Like so, it's like how does brother from the hood of South Dallas get into mixed martial arts and get good at it and be whooping people's ass on a consistent basis and then have to go to Alaska? Like he has a story. It's like if we know this, how come the UFC can't get some high paid researchers to do this and like okay, we're gonna do a producer and produce that. Like there's a story there without him saying boo. Like this dude came from the hood, could have easily been on the other side of the tracks and locked up, and he in the cage all right doing his thing.
Yeah, no, I see, and I didn't even know he was from Dallas. I just figured he was from Alaska. So I mean,
see, look, I'm educating you.
So I'm already like, what happened next?
That's funny. Yeah, man. Yeah, all these guys. There's a lot of people out there that have stories that haven't been tapped into, or the stories are there, but the UFC doesn't capitalize on them for some reason. I don't understand. Like, when Demetrius Johnson was there. And he had the gaming thing. Like, they tried to tap into it at the very end. But I'm like, okay, it's too late at that point. Like, you've already kind of buried him in so many different ways.
Right. Well, yeah, dude's already got, all of a sudden he's fighting for the most UFC championship wins in a row ever. And everyone was like, wait, what? When did that happen? It's like, yeah, that dude's been the best guy ever for pretty much the entire time he's been in there. And then, yeah, like you said, they kind of tried to do the Twitch thing. But it's like, yeah, if, they didn't. I guess I don't know if they didn't expect him to keep doing that well or what it was. And it surely can't be manpower, but maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a feeling if you try to monopolize on too many people too often, you're not going to get the same returns. But, I'm not in the office, so that's purely speculation on my part.
For sure. So you obviously, like we talked a little bit about the team that you work with up at Rufus Sport. You guys are poised for a pretty big year ahead. Tyron's coming back. Pettis is still doing his thing. Macy Barber's up there training, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see what you guys do in 2020. Title shots on the horizon, all that good stuff. You go out there and get a couple in a row. Could be talking about Gerald Meerschaert in that title picture as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Yeah, so we got Paul's got that main event for sure in New Zealand.
Yes.
I know that car is pretty full because I was trying to get on there and they were saying it's pretty booked up, which I kind of figured. Brendan Allen's another one of our young prospects. He's fighting in Nebraska, I believe, the end of February. I can't remember if that's for sure or not, but I thought that's what I was hearing. And Anthony's been back in the gym. He's getting ready for, was it Diego Fiera, I think?
Yes.
His name is? Yeah.
Yeah, he trains at Fortis.
Yeah, so another Texas guy. Macy's already been back training. And she'll be, isn't that the counter card now, that January 18th one?
Yeah, in Vegas.
Yeah, that's going to be a crazy, crazy fight. And she's got a tough test because that Roxanne, she hasn't got finished that much, and
she's very durable.
Yeah, she's like that.
And if anyone's got a good chance, it's a grappler, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a really good test for her. I wasn't feeling the call outs of Paige Van Zandt too much because I was like, why are you calling out somebody ranked below you? But I get why she was doing it from the popularity standpoint, but I thought you meant you were feeling Paige doing her whole thing. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it because I was like kind of with everyone else where I looked at the record and I was like, man, for all the attention you're getting, it's not really adding up for me. So, right.
And of course I help coach her and stuff, so I got her back. So on my end, I'm like, yeah, go get her, freaking call her out. So I was all for it. But yeah, that whole thing, if nothing else, it shed light on not just that situation, but then brought Paige's old training partner into the mix, got people talking about women's MMA again a little bit more outside of some other stuff. So
who's our old training partner?
I forget who it was. There was another fighter that said she felt disrespected or something like that because she was in that call out that Paige retweeted.
Oh,
used to be
I know.
a training partner.
It wasn't Cynthia, was it?
No, it wasn't Cynthia. Yeah, the name is escaping me too, but I do know what you're talking about. I have to go back.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. It was all kinds of dirty laundry being aired out on Twitter. It was nuts for a little bit.
So Macy's, she staying at 125, right?
For right now, I believe so.
Can she get down to 115, or is she too big?
I don't. She would need to know ahead of time to make 115. So I know she can make 25, and it didn't seem terribly hard, but it didn't seem terribly easy either. But I'm not inside her head, and I don't know what her walk around weight is. And her last one, in her defense, she was coming off an injury, so she probably had a little extra weight. But she was telling me after that last one, she was like, "Oh, I could definitely do 115 and go back and forth." I'm like, hey, if you think you can do it, go nuts. Like,
that's that young energy talking.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I said. Well, we'll see, because I was like, you still got to grow up and everything, right? Like, you might even get bigger, so put some muscle on. But we'll see. If she wants to do it and she can make it, then more power to her.
The thing about her, she's so new. It's like, if she waits her turn, I know I'm one person that I've been a career. I wouldn't the stuff that like me and Matt both freelance and stuff like that. I cover other sports. People like, oh, you to wait your turn. I'm thinking like stuff I've done. I've waited my turn. I still be in the line, so I'm not one for that theory. But in her case, her style suited to beat Valentina. But if she don't wait her turn to get the experience, she might get that shot too early, if that make any sense. Because you got to be strong, what she got. You got to be reckless and abandoned and make it a fight. We ain't trying to sit here and see who got the best kicks and who got the best technique. She coming to fight, but at this level of the thing, I think it's still too early to get that Valentina, even though she's got that style that's tailored to beat Valentina. You guys are making a fight. It's not going to be an MMA fight. It's going to be a real fight, and we going to throw down. And that's how she is, but it's like it's still too early for her to get that test, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I don't completely disagree with that. I mean, I think she would surprise a lot of people, but honestly, the fight with Roxanne is going to answer a lot of questions, right? Because if she can run through Roxanne and have a similar performance to her last fight, I think that would speak volumes. I definitely believe in timing, fights the right way, and this. What would this be? This is her second or third fight in the UFC? Third fight. Yeah. So I'm thinking after 3 fights, getting a title shot, like even if that's what you want, that's still pretty quick, right? And I don't see a problem with having another fight. But if she runs through Roxanne and she's confident and ready, and she says, "Screw it, I want the shot at the title," it'd be kind of hard to deny her. You know what I'm saying? Because it's, a big part of it too is confidence. And if you run through a couple people like that and there's no hiccups, that mental willpower can overcome a lot of gaps in skill and other stuff. And I'm not even saying there are any, but I'm saying on top of that, if you're confident and you've got that streak going, it's hard to beat a hungry, confident fighter. So, but I think if it was me planning it out, best case scenario, I'd say beat up Roxanne and maybe get 1 or 2 more, and not just for developing the skill set per se, but build up the fight a little bit more. Let her get a little more highlight reel finishes, and let the UFC kind of like build her profile some before, so you can make some money on that fight.
Because it's crazy. All the divisions, it's like her and everybody else, and then you go in there like if we got some of the people that compete against her that are friends of the show, like Andrea KGB Lee. It's like, how you fight somebody that Amanda Nunes can't even knock out? Been in there twice with her, and she hadn't even knocked her out. So you can't knock her out. Her technique is better than most men. It's like, so how do you compete with that? That's got to be kind of demoralizing, like, before you get in there.
You just gotta, you gotta be mean. But again, that's what I'm saying. If she runs through Roxanne and like rattles off these fights, that ain't gonna matter to her. She's gonna be like, no, I'm gonna be the youngest champion, whatever it takes. And she's been working a lot with Ben, so we might see some offensive wrestling that surprises people, and just inside fighting in general, because she's fought a lot of people at distance. And I'm not saying that like her inside fighting is bad at all, but you get out, inside that kicking range and make it a dirty fight. Yeah. It might be a little harder for her to like get into her rhythm than when people because a lot of girls stand at the edge. Yeah. They sit out there. They like to throw at the kind of the Thai boxing, kickboxing range, and just hang out around there unless they shoot all the way in. They don't want to dirty box and clinch and do all this other stuff. So, that'd be an interesting thing to see.
I think she has no fear, and she is athletic enough to try to make that a very difficult fight for Valentina. And just like I like to say, like, if I was you, if I were her coaching her up, I'd be like, get you a couple more fights. Valentina ain't going nowhere. She just gonna get older. We gonna get better.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that assessment.
100%. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see her progression. Obviously, with that goal of being the youngest champion. I mean, I think she's in the right camp for it because there are a lot of guys that can teach her a lot of different things. There's some camps out there where it's just like, okay, we can kind of do a little bit, but I like the mix out there, Rufus Sport, and I like the experience that you guys have as well. You got champions, you got guys that have been at the very top, guys that are still on their way up as well. So I think it's a perfect spot to really achieve that goal that she's reaching for.
Oh yeah, and I mean, a lot of people think of it as traditionally a striking gym, but like I go there and I got more submission wins on my record than most guys have fights. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we really got a mixed bag, and then we've got another young prospect, Jordan Newman, who's a really, really good stud wrestler. He's a two-time D2 or D, I think it was D3 NCAA champion. So got another good wrestler there. Ben was working with us, but I still get to get some of pick his brain for some wrestling things. And then obviously there's the striking, and then we got gritty fighters like Felder, want to fight you on the inside and kind of brawl a little bit more. And then we got guys like Anthony who, are just going to pretty much mesmerize you till they kick you in the face. Even in striking, we got all kinds of different aspects.
Yeah, Bilal Muhammad as well. He's a friend of the show. Been on there.
Yeah, Bilal's a tough all-around guy. I don't think I've
tough.
ever seen him tired. Yeah, ever. He just always has really good cardio. It's probably because he wears basketball shorts when he trains, so he kind of tricks him into thinking he's on the court or something, so he doesn't stop around.
You got that Hooper mentality.
Hey, he's ready to play a pickup game at all times. You can tell that dude's from Chicago.
I mean, it's at all times.
He walks in with the Jordans and the basketball short sign, and then he's got a white tee and a winter coat because you're not really sure whether it's going to be warm outside or not. So you got to be prepared for all types of weather.
That's hilarious.
It's like Milwaukee, one of them cities where if it ain't rough, it ain't right.
Pretty much, yeah. All you can do is eat cheese, drink beer, and fight people. So if you ain't doing one of those, you ain't doing much.
Hey, it sounds like Thanksgiving is lit up there then.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that's crazy. Does Bilal rock the does he rock the basketball shorts under his jeans? That's what he used to do back in high school.
I'm sure he does. Man, I was so disappointed he didn't come to our coach's Halloween party this year. I literally dressed up like him with all not matching colors. I had a neon orange shirt on, and he's a Patriots fan, so I had a long sleeve Patriots sweatshirt underneath it, and I had some shorts that just said NBA on it.
This dude is wild.
That's hilarious. Oh man, yeah, man. It sounds like you guys have a great time up there. Oh man.
Yeah, we just literally every single practice is us just talking shit to each other all the time. If you set up some cameras and some audio equipment in there, you'd have at least 10 minutes of condensed gold every single day.
That's great. So let's get you out of here on this, man. When's the ideal time? I know you said you wanted to get on an upcoming card, but what's the ideal situation for you to get back in there?
February, probably late-ish February would be ideal. I'd love to get.
Oh, man. I was gonna say early February. Come on out to Houston. We'll be covering that card. We'll.
Hey, if they need some people, I'll come down to Houston. I got family down around Cherokee and stuff like that. So and in Austin, so they're right down the way.
Dope.
One of the funniest guys we've had on so far, Mr. Gerald.
I appreciate it. I try.
Man. I appreciate you coming on. Thanks for your time, man.
Hey, thanks for having me anytime.